Sooner fans, you really need to go check out our podcast partners. First off, teambarfinder.com. Download their app on the Apple Store or on Google Play. Find out where you can watch your Sooners locally at your local pub. Also, go check out tailgateconnect.com for the best tailgates across the country. And go learn football from Jason Young, JY, and the Trench Warfare Report. www.trenchwarfarereport.com. Let's get this going. Hey, Sooner football fans. This is your Sooner football fans podcast. You got Terry and Rob here. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
And we are coming at you from the newly renovated, newly decorated, reconfigured Podcast Palace in beautiful Norman, Oklahoma, where
we are not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma.
But we do have eligibility left. Oh, I should have went to college, Rob. So, Rob, how you doing, man? I haven't seen you since Saturday, 10 days.
Busy. Been busy.
Now, I didn't share on the podcast that you weren't on the other day. Didn't know if you want people sharing it, but just what's been going on in the life of busy Rob?
Well, so I got promoted to general manager of purchasing. And,
congratulations.
Wow, thank you. And at the same time, the Oklahoma City Thunder lost its purchaser, and it's the same company.
Yeah.
So I'm covering both Oklahoma City Thunder, which is anything that happens in the Chesapeake, so monster trucks, bull riding, concerts.
Yeah.
And everything that happens at the University of Oklahoma as well. So I'm doing a lot of traveling back and forth, working at both places.
So basically, you've been handling all the stuff at the University of Oklahoma and handling everything at the Chesapeake Arena. Nobody eats or drinks at the university concessions or at the Chesapeake without
my say so.
Wow, that's like a big weight on your shoulders, isn't it?
It's a bunch. I got to be honest with you. I'm working 12, 14, sometimes 16-hour days. And going back and forth, and I got to be honest with you, the purchaser there at the Chesapeake, their office is in a makeshift spot right outside the warehouse, which is on the event level floor.
Mm-hmm.
So like those monster trucks this weekend, literally 15 feet from my door. So when they start up, everything on my desk is just like shaking. I'm like, oh, geez, what is this? So I walk out there and they're like, hey, you can't come out here right now. And I'm like, oh, because the 5 feet that I'm in my office would be the difference between me living and dying if something happens here, right? So, but, I mean.
So you had the monster trucks, and then you had bull balls all around you two weeks ago, wasn't it?
PBR 2 weeks ago, and then monster trucks. We had two shows Saturday and a show Sunday, and it's just.
So you've had 2 weekends full of yeehaw rednecks there, haven't you?
Yeah, it's quite the diverse crowd. I got to be honest with you, because at some point you're sitting down there, right, during the PBR, and it's just they stink.
Yeah.
So, and at some point you're just like, man, I have got to. So I get up and I go up to the club. I have obviously an all access pass, and so I'm sitting in one of the club seats, and they come in because I'm new up there, and they're like, hey, you're not supposed to be in here. And so I just flash the badge, and I go, listen, girl. oh, sorry, sir. Sorry. I'm like, it's okay. Don't let it happen again.
Yeah. I can be where I want.
But I can't tell you if it was worse or better smelling the bulls or smelling the exhaust from the at least the bulls were a lot quieter than the big trucks. So.
Yeah, so the smell of exhaust or the smell of crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, one of those out of the two, one of them wanted to kill me. Right? The bulls, they would have got you if they could have. He was looking at me, and I'm pretty sure that he had evil intentions. But the trucks, obviously, if that gets away from them, then you're going to die after that. But
yeah.
Those tires are huge.
Yeah. So I saw your posts on Twitter and on Facebook.
You want a grave digger?
Yeah. the one doing was that Gravedigger doing the front wheelie?
Yeah.
And it's interesting hobbies that people start off with that turn into some crazy sports that people will pay to go see.
So interesting fact, right? The same company owns every truck.
Really?
So you're thinking the Gravedigger, that's his own, he's got his own deal and he owns it. He does what he wants. The same company owns them all. And that's those trucks that were there, they just go and do that.
So it's just like Barnum and Bailey's
kind of
circus.
It's all scripted.
Yeah.
Everything that they do is on script. Now there's an opportunity for you to vote on, like that wheelie stuff, how long or the best trick on two wheels or something like that. And so they all kind of do similar stuff.
Yeah.
And some of them just do, a little better than the other ones, but you get to vote on that stuff, but pretty much it's all the same.
Yeah. Yeah, well, sounds like a good time.
Well, it is if your office isn't right next to them. So, yeah.
One thing that we shared on yesterday's podcast, we'll get back into that, is, we've been off since the end of the football season. Take a little break from everything. This is episode number 192.
192.
And so we're going to start letting people know that, and for a couple of reasons, but episode 192, and also we've got a lot of new listeners. We know that, a lot of new followers on Facebook.
Are you them hot?
Just joking. I haven't got anything in my DMs. Have you got anything in your DMs?
Nope.
First off, because we got a few comments in a couple of places about stuff. Whether you like us or not, it really doesn't matter. We do this for fun. And people seem to enjoy it. But our motto is that we're not affiliated with the University of Oklahoma, because we're not. But we do have eligibility left because we're fans. Okay,
right.
That's what we are as fans. We don't have any inside information that you are seeking. We're not recruiting gurus. We are just Sooner fans talking Sooner football. And if you're listening to us for insider information or anything like that, you come to the wrong place. This is pure entertainment. Okay.
This is all, let's just talk some sports,
Yeah.
It's what we do. It's what
so
we like doing.
We are working on some media guys coming on the podcast. People like it when they come on over the next couple of weeks, and then we're going to get back to having fans just like us on the podcast with us, either here at the Podcast Palace or from all over the country via phone. But that's what this podcast is all about, giving the Sooner fans a voice, giving the Sooner fans something to listen to that that they feel the same way we do. But you don't have to feel the same way we do. We're not saying you can't disagree with us. We're saying if you do, you're wrong.
Right.
No.
Right. No, that's right. Yeah.
But no, it's just, we love the comments, whether positive or negative. Just thought it'd be good to put out there that, hey, this is what it is. We're not insiders. We're not out here trying to get the scoop on anything. We get our information from the same place you guys do, from James Hill, from 24/7 Sports, from the Football Brainiacs, from the sports, from the franchise, the sports, wherever you get it from, the newspapers, we get it and we just talk about it. So, but we got a pretty good little podcast. We're talking about doing some extra things this year. Rob and I were just talking about doing a little bit of baseball, Sooner baseball talk. We both love baseball, and there's just not a lot of that out there. So we're thinking about doing a little thing for baseball. And we got some cool segments that we're going to be doing with the fans. The Sooner Not a Sooner this year again, the Sooner Bucket of Questions.
That was always fun.
And we are going to start it tonight. It's funny that we talked about these sports, but we have a segment we're going to, it's called The Sports We Don't Watch.
Yep.
And so we're going to talk about sports that we don't watch and why we don't watch them and why you shouldn't watch them.
I just want to know, is because it's stupid. Is that okay?
Yeah,
or,
that can be the first line, and then we can discuss all the reasons why it is stupid. But anyway, back on that sport, talking about the trucks. And we are going to get into some Sooner talk here in a little bit. We got some stuff. We're going to talk a little bit about the Astros. fiasco. Rob is the bigger baseball fan out of me, Caleb, and him, and follows pro baseball probably more than, well, Caleb kind of follows everything kind of obnoxiously a lot.
Yeah, he's got a whole lot of useless knowledge, as I like to call
which
it.
which is hilarious because Caleb made a comment on last night's on today's podcast or Monday's podcast where he said that we were talking about the quarterbacks, Rob, and he said, we're talking about Spencer Rattler, and he said, basically, Caleb thought that Spencer was probably the better quarterback on campus, but couldn't have handled it behind the line. Somebody retweeted it and quoted Caleb was saying that and said, that's why Caleb's the GOAT.
The GOAT.
Caleb was called the greatest of all time.
All right. For that one comment, way to go, Caleb.
So it was Cleo that said, hey, he's the he's the GOAT. It was a good point, but
you know what? I listened to that, and I would agree that obviously we're not going to second guess Lincoln Riley.
Yeah, no.
But this is what I would have liked to have seen throughout this year.
Okay.
Right? I would have liked to have seen Spencer get at least the entire fourth quarter of several of those games.
Yeah.
Because we need him now to step in and hit the ground running.
Yeah.
We don't need a time of him getting his feet wet. We needed that last year.
Right.
And I think it became fairly clear. I mean, even though we did make the playoffs, that we probably were not going to beat probably any of the teams that played in the playoffs.
Right.
So I really would have liked to have seen, Spencer get I would say 5-6 games where he played the entire fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand that would have hurt Jalen a little bit.
Yeah.
But Jalen is going to get the same no matter what. Right. I don't think Jalen's a first round quarterback. Sorry, Cleo.
And Tony, but I mean he's being projected as a third round, and people are talking to him about going to the Steelers. There's a lot of talk about the Steelers, which
and I think he's going to do well.
Yeah.
But I honestly don't think that giving up a fourth quarter out of 5 or 6 games was gonna change where he would have went in the draft.
Right.
So.
Let's. Anyway, I just wanted to share that Caleb's been called the GOAT.
All right.
So, how much of the trucks and the rodeos did you get to watch?
I mean, I'm obviously stuck in the office doing stuff, and my I have to manage my team that works there. So that being said, I go out there every time I want to.
Yeah.
And
you just don't get to loiter very long.
Well, I mean, how much of it, unless you're just really into, bull riding.
Yeah.
After you watch 2 or 3, you're kind of like, okay, And the
same thing with the trucks.
Yeah, the first round I watched quite a bit of it, but quite a bit is not really adequate. I watched enough that I was like, okay, I'm kind of done with this. And then the second show of that same night, I don't think I seen very much of it at all. I seen some stuff that I didn't get to see the first time. Like I went out there and walked under one of those trucks. That was kind of cool, which they're like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" And I'm like, "Listen, no, I didn't."
Flashed your badge again.
No, I'm just like, "Oh, am I not supposed to be here?"
Well, I was saying about the monster trucks and bull riding and everything. I mean, I've been to my fair share of rodeos. Believe me. I mean, I've been to the prison rodeo in McAllister, for crying out loud.
As a
spectator. So that is it's a shame that they don't have it anymore because it used to be a huge event and a big rodeo.
Right, it's like the biggest prison rodeo in the nation.
Yeah, and then they just went down to it was it used to be like instead of a pro-am, it was a pro-con. They had a professional rodeo and then they had the convicts rodeo. And then towards the end it basically became back when I was in high school, it was was a convicts rodeo. I mean, you went and
is it kind of a dying sport, you think?
Rodeo? Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they're still doing
still going?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Now but watching and the convicts, they got prize money for it. Did you ever been to a rodeo?
A prison rodeo?
No, a rodeo.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Did you ever? You've seen Money the Hard Way?
Money the Hard Way,
where they put a bag of money on a bull's horn and set him loose, and people get to go out there and try.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they called it something else though.
You ain't seen Money the Hard Way until you've seen
prisoners going after him.
Those guys will die for that money.
Shank you to get on.
I mean, it's crazy. They, you see, the local guys out there running around trying to sneak up on it. This bull's got 10 prisoners charging him, diving at him.
It's a wrestling match out there.
So,
all right.
But anyway, the sports like that and like Monster Truck, they don't do it as much anymore on ESPN, but I remember watching, later in the evenings and stuff back home. It's probably 15 years ago, but swamp buggy racing. Did you ever see that?
Oh yeah. On ESPN the Ocho.
Yeah. They need to get an Ocho to bring that stuff back, because those things run it basically somewhere out in the backwoods. They dug a creek.
Yeah,
and
everybody with 4 teeth or less, right?
They get those.
Sorry about that, right there.
Those mud-slinging, big old, weird-looking tires, and just screaming around that course, and people show up for it. And ESPN was covering it. There was, what was another? There was another one similar to that.
It's like tractor pulls.
Yeah, tractor pulls. I don't understand tractor pulls at all.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
I don't care how much your tractor can pull.
Pull it with your tractor.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not that hard.
Yeah, but let's segue that into our very first segment: sports we don't watch.
Sports we don't watch.
Let's start with college sports, because I've got a list here of all these sports, and here are all the college sports.
Wait. Are we going to do men, women, or are we just doing everything?
We can do men and women.
Okay.
So I'm going to run through, which I thought there would be more sports than this. Okay. And NCAA, I just thought there was a plethora of sports. There's not. There's only 22 sports in NCAA athletics. Well, there's more than that, because there's men and women in some, but I just linked them all together.
Okay.
All
right.
So we got baseball.
Yep.
Basketball, men's and women's.
Well, you're going to hit them all, and then we're going to go back?
Yeah, and then we'll go back.
All right.
We'll start.
All right.
Okay. But I just wanted to touch base on, here's all the college sports that are out there. Beach volleyball, which is only women. Thank goodness. Bowling, which is only women.
Really?
Yeah. Cross country, men and women. Fencing, men and women. Field hockey, only women. Football, men. Golf, men's and women's. Gymnastics, men's and women's. Hockey, men's and women's. Lacrosse, men's and women's. Rifle, I didn't know that, men's and women. Skiing, men's and women. Soccer, men's and women. Swimming and diving, both male and female, men's and women's. Tennis, men's and women. Track indoor, men's and women. Track outdoor, men's and women. Volleyball, men's and women. Water polo, men's and women. And wrestling. So this is an unpopular opinion. Caleb's not here because he would be throwing a fit and arguing with us. But the number one sport that we need to start off with that we do not watch is what, Rob?
Soccer.
Men's, women's, mixed.
Midget. I might watch it if it was midget, but I probably wouldn't.
Yeah. Soccer. Why? I mean, first off, it's football. I guess that's the across the pond, and everywhere else it's football.
They're wrong.
Wrong. Yeah. Even though the greatest heavy metal band in the world, one of my favorite, Iron Maiden, their founder Steve Harris owns a soccer club or soccer team.
I feel like that's subjective and very highly debatable.
What?
Whether or not they're the greatest.
No, they are.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And they are still they're still touring and selling out coliseums, and
there's no argument
arenas
here for that.
So anyway, why don't you like soccer, Rob? Let's share our opinions on soccer.
Why? I mean, gosh, I should have thought about this. Why don't I like
Okay, number one, they play it on a pitch. I don't know, why do they call it a pitch? A pitch. It's not a field. It's a soccer pitch.
Listen, they're all high, aren't they?
Yeah, they're all.
I mean, they're just like, oh, let's call it a pitch. Really? That's what they call it?
Yeah, it's a pitch.
It's completely flat, though, right? There's no.
I don't know.
Yeah.
That I learned that from Caleb and Eli. Across the street.
Because he's a soccer player.
He's a soccer player. Yeah. So is his wife. So is their kid. They're big onto soccer.
You know what? Norman is a big soccer town.
Oh yeah, and there's 100 soccer fields. What, a half mile from here?
Yeah, and the high school here, Norman North, has won the state championship.
Yeah. I think a couple years ago, Norman North and Norman played for the state.
Really?
Played each other for the state championship. It's a pitch. The field is too big. Okay, it's like played, on 100 acres. They don't score enough.
And they end in ties sometimes.
They end in ties.
That's gay.
And there was one time, I think it was in the Olympic trials or in the Olympic soccer tournament with the women's, they couldn't get nobody was scoring. It was a tie, and they ended it with a coin toss.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why I don't watch
that's
it.
why. And it's slow. Have you ever tried to watch a soccer game?
Yep, I certainly have.
This is coming from guys who have, we haven't, I'm not going to watch soccer.
No, I've tried it. I've tried to watch pretty much all sports at some point or other because there wasn't an actual sport on. So, you know, I mean, that's how you get on the Ocho and watch mud bogging or whatever they called it, right?
Right, but to me, there's nothing exciting about it.
Nope.
I don't understand the clock. It seems like they just play. It's not like a quarter. It doesn't seem timed to me. It seems,
listen, if we're hurting your feelings right now, we don't really mean to.
We don't mean to. We just,
it's just our opinion.
By all means, it only helps us if you share and
you're probably not going to convince me.
Yeah, you're not going to convince me.
Good luck with it.
I have watched the World Cup. I've tried to watch it. I've tried to watch college soccer. I've watched kids soccer, and it makes no sense. Now for kids, I think for exercise and activity when they're young, helping them with their equilibrium and their what's the other thing called, timing and stuff, I think it's good.
Probably, yeah. Any kind of exercise for our kids today is
that's
good.
what I was going to say. I got mine by with a tennis ball or a baseball thrown against the concrete wall at my house. I mean, anything you can do to play.
Well, it was just a different time for us, Terry. I mean, we were outside.
Yeah.
As soon as we woke up and we had got food in our belly, we were gone.
You didn't even get food in your belly. Sometimes you just got up and didn't come home until, dark.
Until you knew you'd be in trouble if you got home any later.
Yeah. And then there was times I got home and they forgot I was even gone. They'd come walking, where you been? I've been at the lake, down at the dam, because I grew up out in the country, down by my
Me too.
I was down at the dam. I'd been down there all day long.
Yeah. I mean, there were some mornings that I might get up, eat, and take a shotgun and a 22, both of them, and be down on the river all day, just,
shooting whatever moved.
Well, I mean, not necessarily killing stuff, but shooting stuff for sure.
But I mean, it's for one, like I said, soccer. It's stretched out over too big of a field. There's
no shooting.
I mean, they go. It seems like to me there's only like one. Is it called shot on goal? Like every 10 minutes. Yeah. I mean,
and I'm gonna tell you this.
And it takes them forever to get there to it.
They make James Harden look like an amateur flopper. There is some major flopping going on in soccer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not even kidding you.
Yeah. And, I know over in England, I mean, it's just not – I mean, they've got it from high school, the club level, the pro level, which the club level is pro level. I mean, I know it's the world's number one sport, but the world is
because
wrong.
they don't have real football.
Right.
Or real baseball, do they?
No, they don't.
So that's why it is.
Yeah. And it's just something that I have, never acquired a taste to watch, and I will make fun of it, and
as well
you can say, well, you only make fun of it because you don't understand it. Okie doke.
Already.
I have gone and tried to learn everything I could about soccer. And no. Did your kids play soccer?
No.
Did they want to play soccer?
No.
David wanted to play soccer. I wouldn't let him.
Ooh, now you're in trouble. That's at Terry Long, 5150.
I do. You can ask him. He wanted to play soccer. You ain't playing soccer. No, you ain't playing soccer. No reason for it. I can't remember if Caleb wanted to play soccer or not. Caleb played baseball, and then he dropped baseball because he wanted to do freestyle and Greco-Roman wrestling when he was wrestling. So,
now, my oldest one wanted to play tennis, and I allowed it because that's hand-eye coordination.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, Caleb wanted to play tennis, too. It looked easy for him. He actually went and took tennis lessons and lasted one day. He got mad and was like, I don't want to play it no more. It wasn't as easy as what he thought. So, any other things about soccer that you dislike or?
Besides the flopping, the boring, and the... Oh, no, we pretty much covered it.
Yeah. So... and we're going to start off with, and they'll overlap, but we're going to start off with college sports. So that's it. We don't watch soccer, men's or women's. Oklahoma doesn't have a men's team. They only have a women's team, right?
I think that's right.
I wonder why that is.
They got a pretty nice soccer complex.
Yeah, it's a nice soccer complex,
It's nice grass for sure. I'm going to go out there and hit some wedges.
That's what I was fixing to say. It'd look good with some football players on it, wouldn't it?
I'm going to take my wedge out there and just,
Yeah.
But they kind of frown on that a little bit.
Yeah. I have let's see, soccer. Let's see. I'll click on that.
What are you looking up?
I'm looking up soccer on Sooner Sports.
They have a pretty nice complex, like I said, but they only have like maybe 5 games there for the entire year. And one of those is the what's it called? The Storm, the Shock, I
don't know.
The
team up at
AAA.
Oklahoma City.
Yeah, Shock. Yeah. Is it Shock or Storm or something?
Why are you asking?
Energy.
There.
Dang, I pulled that right out. I seen it and I pulled it right out of there.
And what kind of name is that for a sports team?
Because the Chesapeake is their sponsor right now. Chesapeake Energy. So, yeah, they come down and play one against some Mexico team, I think I want to say. Maybe not. I don't know. But they played there last year, I remember. So,
yeah. And again, it's not that, it's not that we don't like soccer because we're, a bunch of redneck Americans. We just don't like soccer. It has nothing to do with being a redneck or being American or anything else. I don't think
even when I was a kid I would have thought that was fun.
I don't either.
So there you go.
I never, I can't ever remember. I mean, I played kickball. That's the closest I've ever came to soccer.
It's kind of baseball.
Yeah, I know it's baseball. It's baseball because for recess because they wouldn't give you a baseball bat. That recess.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, seriously, they didn't want the kids out there with baseball bats and hard balls, so they give you this big round rubber ball that when you kick it goes ding.
So what might be fun to talk about is how could we make soccer fun?
That's a good point. And maybe that's what we need to. How could we make it fun? Let's carry on with that. We'll just do that. Now, how could we make it fun?
Well, you can't say, you can't add contact like hitting and stuff because then you're turning it into real football.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We might have to take some.
I think make this field smaller.
Okay.
I mean, seriously. I mean, look at. I mean, it is huge.
That's what. Never mind.
She said your field was huge. All right.
Well, she said it though, and she was kind of smirking. So I don't know if I believed her, but
I don't know if it was true or not. But the field is so big and it's stretched out. Now, I remember they used to have like the United States had indoor soccer that was played on like a hockey. I mean, it was less players, obviously, but I think it's a little bit strung out, a little bit too big.
Okay.
Compact it, being
a little bit more action.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's a whole lot of passing the ball back and forth.
Yeah, kicking it,
folks.
40 yards.
Like he just had it. Why are you kicking it back to him? Oh my God! What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, what do you think? What could we do to make So bigger goals so they could score more.
Ooh, maybe put a goal on the sidelines. Like there's one in each goal. Maybe put one on the sides too, so you can choose which
a smaller
goal you wanna go
one,
in.
that you make it in that one on the side. It's a half point. I mean, for crying out loud, you have ties.
Yeah, or just cancel it altogether.
Yeah,
whatever.
Cancel it. And, for the guys, I might watch it if it was female naked soccer.
Well, Terry,
I wouldn't watch the male naked soccer.
huh? Well, that's just
That's just my own taste in and male and female soccer.
okay.
You said make it interesting. That wouldn't make it a little more interesting.
That's not so much interesting as it is just naughty. But
well, Rob, you do watch what is it? The Ambassadors League? Or
I don't, because I never know when it's on.
Yeah, but if you
But
did,
I would. And it's called Champions or
Champions League.
Is it Champions?
Yeah,
Okay,
Champions League.
yeah.
And if y'all don't know what Champions League is,
Go ahead and Google that on.
Yeah, Google it on up. It's football, American football,
Yep.
played by Americans.
Yep.
And let's talk a little bit of Sooner baseball, Rob. We're
Okay.
going to try to be more involved in the Sooner baseball. Rob and I are both big baseball fans. So is Caleb.
We're going to go to some games too, both OU and
Dodgers, Oklahoma City Dodgers.
Oklahoma City Dodgers, yeah.
And the University of Oklahoma's website, it's pretty in depth with their baseball stuff. They put out a lot, and I understand because there's not a lot of reporting on it. So their website has some really good information. Right now, the Sooners are 2-1 on the season. They played. They're ranked number 15 in the country. By Perfect Game, number 16 by Baseball America, and number 23 by D1 Baseball. They played Pensacola. They played in Pensacola, Florida last week. Played Virginia 3 times.
Virginia, yeah.
Lost 6-0 in the first game. Won the second game 7-2, and won the third game 5-1.
And Virginia was ranked too, weren't they?
I believe so.
Yeah. They're pretty good. They're not bad. And they've really got some pitching this year. That they got depth in pitching, and they've got their ace. I mean, he's really, really good. In fact, I'm kind of surprised he came back. But if he has a good year, he probably won't come back next year. But big tall kid named Cade Cavalli.
Mm-hmm. I remember he played last year, didn't he?
Yeah. He's a true freshman.
Anyway, he pitched like we watched him a couple.
He can play. He can hit too.
Yeah.
So they inserted him into the line when he wasn't pitching to hit. So I mean, the kid can play.
So Oklahoma baseball has some games coming up this week. Tomorrow is the home opener against Texas Southern at 3 p.m. They play again.
I'll be there.
They'll play again Wednesday at 3 p.m. against Texas Southern. Then
wait. Isn't it supposed to snow Wednesday?
I think so.
Yeah, they're not playing.
They're not playing. Then Friday, February 21st, here in Norman against Illinois State at 3. At noon on February 22nd, which is my birthday, here in Norman, and on 23rd, we may go catch the 23rd game.
Let me tell you something about L. Del Mitchell. It's a nice
place.
Nice place. But when it's cold,
yeah, in
the stands, it is cold because that wind kind of comes right up the stands, and you're just like, oh,
yeah. Ooh. There is no windbreak in that stadium anywhere. I mean, and I'm not a winter baseball guy. Baseball it's a summer sport. It's a summer sport,
right?
Well,
here's the thing with colleges, though. They're out in May. They're gone.
Yeah.
So they got to be wrapped up by May. Well, of course, if they make the playoffs, and then obviously the World Series, they play deep into the summer. So
right. But this past weekend, though, 11 different Sooners recorded hits in the series against Virginia. 8 different players scored a run. Junior first baseman Tyler Hardman had 4 hits.
They're going to be good.
Senior catcher Brady Lindsley, outfielder Tanner Treadway, and freshman third baseman Peyton Graham recorded 3 hits apiece. Man, a total of 8 players made their Oklahoma debuts in the season opening series.
They're going to do some fan appreciation days and stuff, and
Yeah.
and they're gonna try and get people in the ballpark this year for sure. Of course, they always do the pet day. You need to bring
Rascal.
bring the monster down, and yeah.
Yeah, the catcher. I mean, catcher hit 375 during the first 3 games.
Yeah, and they got a kid that came in last year, catcher, that obviously Lindsley's beat him out, but he's going to be really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but there's been a lot of talk here locally about Sooner baseball. I mean, I listen to Sports Talk 1400. You do too. I know a lot.
Yeah, James Hale, he talks about baseball.
James Hale and Toby in the mornings, and Chris Plank.
Plank.
Those guys, they cover all the sports for Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
So they're into it. So, it's gotten me a little more interested in the baseball. Maybe we'll do some softball. If somebody out there knows a little bit about softball more than.
Well, now if you're going to go to a softball game, you have got to get tickets early.
Yeah.
Or you won't get a ticket. So.
Yeah, but and on the baseball note, Rob, the Houston Astros are now the Chicago White Sox, or was it White Sox or Black Sox?
Black Sox.
Black
but,
Sox.
I mean, they were the White Sox, but they called them that. You're talking about the 8-man out in 1919?
Yeah, the 8-man out. That's what I was.
Well, this is different than that.
It was cheating.
Yeah.
But they lost instead of.
All right. So where do we start on this deal? Because do you really feel like it's cheating?
Okay. Sign stealing, I don't think is cheating.
Okay.
I really don't. How they did it is cheating.
Okay. They pushed it. They went over there's a line.
There's a limit. You know what?
Went over it.
You know what? I remember playing Little League baseball. We called it Babe Ruth, which was like 13, 14, 15 years old. The league before you went into high school.
Right.
When you were on second base, you watched the catcher, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Your job was to watch the catcher, and you had a sign that you gave the batter. Fastball, curve, whatever it was, you did something on your shirt. That's all fine and dandy. It's the fact that they're wearing buzzers, and some guy sitting up in the stands with a zoom-in camera.
So we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, first it was the drum, wasn't it? It was.
So, let's go back to 2017 when they won the World Series.
Yeah.
Because it was more basic at that time. Now, they still were across the line with the zoom-in cameras and stuff.
Right.
But they were watching a live feed. Somebody sitting down in the dugout,
right?
And they were just saying it was either a fastball or it wasn't.
Right. They're letting them know when the fastball was.
Which
done.
really is huge.
Right. Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah.
Because now they've owned up to that one.
Mm-hmm.
They're not owning up to buzzers yet.
Right.
So, if you're not a baseball person, the difference between it may not sound like much of a difference between a 97-mile-an-hour fastball and an 87-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
Yeah, there's a ton of difference.
Huge difference. Yeah. Huge difference.
Yeah.
And, I played, Terry, I played college baseball. And we were watching signs always. If you could catch a glimpse of those signs, then you got them.
Right.
Right? And so I played catcher and first base. So when I caught, there were people that had our signs just immediately. Mm-hmm. And so when you do that, then you go out and you change it up. Okay, I'm going to give you 3 signals now, and we're going to take the middle one.
Yeah.
Well, it don't take them very long to pick that up. So apparently Houston is a pro at stealing signs.
Right.
So.
Or the coach at Houston at that time.
Yeah.
And now he's, I think they're going to put him on a, deserted island somewhere.
Well, he got fired.
Yeah, he got fired he was at the Boston, wasn't he?
Have they already picked him up? I didn't know.
No, Boston picked him and they fired him.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So.
Oh, right, yeah.
But yeah, when that came out that he was the the guy that designed it, but then it got even deeper. I mean, it was they were telling them what the pitch was.
Well, that's not confirmed yet, but but we're pretty sure they've got a lot of pictures, especially of Altuve, where he was rounding third one time, and
you could see it. Yeah,
you could see something right there, and
there was time he was telling him don't take off his jersey. When he hit a home run.
You seen that footage?
Yeah. Yeah,
don't take my jersey off because everybody's going to see this buzzer that's on my chest.
Yeah, and it was obvious once you know what's going on. And you know what the crazy thing is as little. Well, I'm not going to say as little. I the last couple of years, I've watched more baseball on TV than I have in a long time. It's because I had the Major League Baseball package.
Right.
And I remember watching games the last couple of years and hearing that trash can getting banged.
You remember that? Huh?
Yeah, I remember.
I guess I just didn't pay attention.
I mean, but I didn't pay attention to it. There was times I was like, "What the hell is that?" But when it came out, I was like, "Oh."
Well, some of the pitchers were picking up on it.
Yeah,
they definitely were. Especially, so they narrowed it down to certain pitchers. Some pitchers had great off-speed pitches, and so that's when they were saying, "Hey, you're getting ready to get a a change-up." And so there's one particular, I don't remember who it was now, but that was his go-to pitch.
Right.
You weren't going to really.
Is that the guy who's suing him?
No.
Yeah. There's been a picture of suing him. Said
right.
that it was after
he's going to win.
Yeah. They lit him up, and he got sent down to the minors and never played in the bigs again.
Never stepped on the field again.
You know, I mean, yeah, and he should win.
Maybe.
Again. Stealing signs. Woo. Stealing signs is part of baseball. It's part of football. It's why the NFL went to the headsets.
Right.
Okay. I think Major League Baseball is so far behind all the other sports, Rob. It's ridiculous. They should have brought in instant replay a long time ago. Okay. Not on every play.
Well, they wanted to keep the game pure.
Yeah, but there are plays. Most plays at first base are obvious, okay, but in big games when they're not obvious, they're because we all have seen the picture of the guys
Bill Buckner,
or the foot the foot 6 inches above when the ball gets there. That's a judgment call. I think I told you the one time when I was doing little league umpiring. The old man that was training me when I was doing first base, he was like, "You don't watch, you listen. The base makes a thud, the glove makes a pop."
Right. Whichever one you hear first.
Yeah, whichever one you hear first. You be looking, because if you're looking up in the sky, somebody's going to holler at you.
Right.
He goes, but it's a significant different sound. And there is no rule in baseball. Everybody thinks there's a rule in baseball that tie goes to the runner. There is no such rule. It is a judgment of the umpire.
Yeah.
Okay. So if the umpire goes, it was close. If the first base umpire, I think it should be the first base umpire's call. Is, hey, it was close. I'm not sure. Let's look at it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You know what I mean? Let him be not the coach go, "Oh, I want that." The ump made the go. If he goes, "Whoop, man, there's no way I could tell it." I'm not one for the second base, stealing,
Well, here's the thing about second base. When they're rolling up double plays, half the time.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing I was going to bring up.
Shortstop doesn't have the ball or doesn't.
Yeah, it's just baseball it's a given on
It's
a double
automatic.
play. You're automatic. If he catches the ball, whether he's on the bag when he catches it or not, you're out.
Right.
Okay. Which is stupid. They should make it, you got to be standing on the bag when you catch the ball or plant your foot. But
so now you're changing statistics, and now which is what we're talking about
right.
here with the Astros, because, for instance, the pitcher from the Dodgers,
okay. Oh, what's his name?
Yeah, everybody knows who I'm talking about. I mean, he's one of the best pitchers in baseball. They rocked him.
Yeah,
I mean, just lit him up, and that affected his stats and probably his paycheck. I mean, he's really good, but probably not. I want to say his last name starts with a K, but I cannot believe it escapes me right now. But anyway,
well, I mean,
if you start changing rules and bringing in
but I'm
replay.
I'm just saying, I'm saying though, I'm not saying change the rule like the second base. I don't have an issue with that, but when you've let it go like that, that's part of what's wrong with baseball. Okay, you let that go, but then you don't let this go. Everybody knows the second, a double play, the guy going to second usually ain't out. He is, but
that shortstop is skipping across that base, and he may or may not have the ball.
Right.
And,
Right. So that being said, but but on the other end again with baseball, why doesn't baseball just go to the headset?
For the pitcher and the catcher?
For the pitcher and the catcher.
Or they could use the buzzer that the Astros are obviously not wearing anymore.
Yeah. So, I mean, you could put, and, the coach call your pitching coach call the pitch, and the pitcher say, no, don't want to throw that. Okay, that's my pitch.
Well, you need most of the time in the pros, they let the catcher call the game.
Right.
Now, the pitcher obviously has right of denial. Listen, I don't want to throw a fastball to this guy.
Right.
Normally, the catcher knows better than anybody. I think. The catcher's like, hey, this guy's not hit a fastball all day. You need to throw him a fastball. Right. And the pitcher's like, no, I'm going to throw him a curve. Then, the catcher goes, okay, meat.
Yeah. But, what I'm saying is, though, baseball could fix this by moving a little bit into the, develop a system. That's why the NFL went to, allowing the dot on the helmets for the quarterbacks and the defenders, for the captains of the offense and defense. Stop, stealing signs.
Yeah.
And on that, that's one of the things I like about the XFL. The product is good, but everybody but the offensive line has mics or speakers in their helmet.
Oh, really?
So the coach calls plays, everybody hears it. All that the quarterback does is call out the protection. So, the blocking scheme. That's all he does. Calls out the blocking scheme. But to me, baseball needs to move forward in that. Figure out a way other than hands, because everybody knows everybody's stealing the signs. Everybody's stealing the steel signs.
And that is a part of the game.
It's part of the game.
But when you cross the line, when Altuve, all right, here's perfect example. In the ALCS, Altuve hit a walk-off against Aroldis Chapman. Mm-hmm. Okay, for those of you that don't know, Aroldis Chapman throws 106 miles an hour.
Right.
So any batter that steps in the box against Aroldis Chapman, you've got no choice but to sit on the fastball.
Right.
Because if you don't, you're not going to catch up to it, ever. Right? So, having said that, Altuve, before the next pitch comes, takes a step up in the box, which you don't do when somebody throws 106. You need every second you can get, every split second. Steps up in the box. Aroldis is throwing an off-speed pitch. Jose Altuve tees off on it.
Right. Because he knew it was coming.
Because he knew it was coming. And the problem with that is when somebody that throws 106 throws an off-speed pitch at 85, 87, whatever his off-speed, I don't know, it may be even faster than that, but it makes you look silly, okay? And Aroldis only throws that about once every 10 or 12 pitches. So there's no way you walk in to the box thinking, I'm going to get that off-speed pitch.
Yeah.
So, and that's the same footage that you see him covering up and saying, don't take my jersey off.
Yeah.
And then he runs it down into the locker room, right? So, I mean.
And the thing about the jersey, don't take my jersey, because that became a thing. When they hit a home run, people get their jerseys off.
Right.
And he was like, don't.
And they did it to him several times.
Yeah.
Several times. So for them not to do it this time tells me there's something under his jersey he didn't want people seeing.
Right.
Now, that's not 17. We're talking about, 2018 and 2019, obviously. But they ramped up their game. But now they're not conceding to any cheating going on in 2018 or 2019.
No. And they're saying that if there was cheating or that it didn't affect the outcome of the game.
Well,
what? And then they asked him, "Did you just say that?" And he went, "No, I didn't say that." Yes, you did. You literally just said that.
Literally just said it. Yeah. So if it affected one pitch, it affected the whole game.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously they can't be allowed to do that. Having said that, though, cheating has been a part of baseball since baseball. I mean, stealing second is cheating, right?
The term is stealing, so therefore it has to be.
I'm just saying. But, yeah, I mean, so now it brings into question everybody that's ever cheated, going all the way back to.
Now, Pete Rose is now wanting, this is bigger than, worse than anything he ever did. And
listen, if any of those people that did steroids or any of the people that had buzzers on their arms get into the Hall of Fame, then
Pete Rose
they need
gets
to apologize to Pete Rose.
Yeah. Yeah, because all he did was try to financially gain from the game, not.
If they could have proved that he was throwing the game because he was betting on it, That's one thing.
Yeah.
But they couldn't.
They couldn't. They just know he betted on
He was betting on his team to win.
Yeah.
They did know that.
Yeah. So, okay, guys, I know you're all probably tired of us. We talked a little bit of Sooner baseball, a little bit of football. Let's get into a little bit of football talk, Rob.
Okay.
I want to tease some stuff here in a little bit, but let's talk about the transfer portal.
Okay.
Okay. Caleb and I talked about it the other day a little bit. We've talked about it, not on the podcast. All the Sooner fans got all worked up about all these guys transferring.
Was it because of the quantity of people that were transferring?
The quantity of people transferring.
Not necessarily the quality, but.
Right. But, I mean, here's my deal. I mean, the people that, Caleb brought it up is they were all thought, this coaching staff wasn't surprised by it. But here's the names of the people that entered the transfer portal, okay? Jacqueline Crawford, 4-star wide receiver. Do we know who he is?
No.
Okay.
And as you keep going there, I think there's only a couple of them that really had any shot at playing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can't really blame these kids that want to go play.
Yeah, Michael Thompson, he hasn't landed anywhere. The 4-star defensive tackle, they were moving to offensive line. Don't know what all happened, but he hasn't landed anywhere, which still means he's at Oklahoma. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, you can enter the transfer portal. These guys haven't.
So he could still play for us, or is that over?
He could still play for us. My understanding is they can still play.
Okay.
Just because they put their name in the portal to get nobody has contacted them, or but Michael Jones was a wide receiver.
Are you talking about Michael Jones?
Michael Jones, yeah. 5'11", 186, 4-star receiver, landed in Tulane.
Is he a senior this year?
It doesn't have their but Michael Thompson hasn't landed anywhere. Mark Jackson Jr., weak side defensive end, 4-star.
Yeah, he was small though, right?
Yeah, 6'1", 233. And again, folks, the defensive ends that we have now, the last two, those are like 6'5".
Yeah,
they're
boys.
Big.
Well, he's obviously not fast enough to play linebacker, but he has the size of a linebacker, so he must be really slow. Sorry, I didn't.
Troy James, 6 foot defensive tackle. Okay, again, what have we been getting at defensive tackles here the last
6'6", 6'7"?
Yeah, big boys. He's immediately eligible. He is. He went to Prairie View A&M. Okay,
that's a huge step down.
Yeah. Levi Draper, which is an Oklahoma project inside linebacker, everybody was a little bit upset about.
Yeah, because he had a shot to playing, didn't he?
Yeah, 6'2", 222 is 4-star in high school. Inside linebacker, ended up going to Arkansas. Arkansas has picked him up, transferred. Jonathan Perkins, another. He's a 3-star, another outside linebacker. Is in the portal, hasn't gone anywhere. And again, you got to look like Michael Thompson, Mark Jackson. These guys aren't immediately eligible. Okay, so they have to sit out a year.
They're gonna have to sit out unless they go to a place like Prairie
View A&M. Yeah. Troy James can play. Jordan Parker, I think he's a graduate transfer because he's immediately eligible. 4-star corner.
Don't we have a receiver that graduated and transferred in?
Yes. We got a receiver, Theo Howard, 4-star out of UCLA. We also got Obi Obialo, 3-star wide receiver out of Marshall, transferred in. And Kason Grant, 5'11", 180-pound wide receiver from Mississippi State, transferred.
I can imagine a wide receiver wanting to transfer in here, but
I mean, just to be in the system, maybe. But anyway, I mean, I'm not going to go through all of them. I mean, Ty Diarman is at SMU. I mean, yeah, there was a lot of them, but come on. I mean, they weren't playing. They weren't an impact. It affected our depth, but how far down the depth chart were they? I mean,
far enough that they probably weren't going to hit the field for us.
Right. So, and we've had this discussion before. I mean, I think the transfer portal is good. I think it's it's allowed for the coaches. These coaches can. I mean, who was a coach that just got a job? The Colorado coach just took the Michigan State job, and literally that day was at an event for Colorado, saying he was not going anywhere. He was Buffalo true and true. That night, signed it. He had a meeting with his players that day. I read the deal on it.
Wow.
And said, we are not going anywhere. We are building this. And that night he was gone. He took the job at Michigan State.
So I don't agree with that. I mean, obviously, a coach has got to do what he's got to do to better himself,
right.
Obviously. And, you'd be an idiot to not take $1 million raise, right?
Right.
I mean, anybody would do that. As far as the players are concerned, if it comes, down to, oh, well, I think I'm better than him and I'm not starting, so I'm going to transfer.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
I don't, but I think here's my deal. I think they need to do a little bit more. I mean, graduate transfers are fine. They've done their time. They put in, they lived up to their end of the bargain. You know what I mean? They can transfer anywhere they want. These kids that are transferred now, you got to sit out a year unless you go to a smaller school. Hey, that's a punishment. That's a year's worth of eligibility. If you're going to do it, you're going to sit out a year. You haven't been playing. You're not going to get to play for a year unless you go to a smaller school.
That's the only thing that I think makes it okay.
Right. I mean, it may be that I'm not getting enough playing time. I think I should be playing more. That's fine. If you do, these guys have had talks with the coaches. I'm going to put my name in the portal. If the coach didn't want to put the name on the portal, the coach go, oh, no, don't do that. You're going to play next year. Keep doing the things you are, Obviously, in my opinion, these guys have been told that's probably the best thing for you is to enter the portal. What the heck are you looking at?
I hear something. Do you hear that?
No.
Okay.
What's it a sound? What's it sound?
Sounds like water running or white snow or something like that,
White snow?
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like TV snow?
Yeah.
Oh,
can you hear it?
No.
Okay. Anyway.
If you guys would have seen the look on Rob's face when he started looking around.
So here's the thing. It's going to cause coaches to start being very political with the handing out of starting jobs.
Right.
Because as soon as you hand out that starting job, that backup could go hit the portal.
Right.
And really you need that depth.
Right.
I mean, losing the guys that we lost, they're not starters, but some of them probably were quality depth.
Right. Yeah, but I mean, honestly, though, we know everything in college football with the players is political. Caleb and I talked about it on the last podcast. We're going to get, it's a tight race between Spencer and Tanner. And
oh, you mean the coach speak?
Yeah, the coach speak.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
even to the kids, okay? But if there was a snowball's chance in Hades that these guys were going to make a positive impact on the team, do you not think that Lincoln Riley or any coaching staff would make it a point to make it understood you don't need to do this? You know what I mean? Hey, you're done. To me, if you're entering the portal, somebody has said something to you, has pulled you aside and said, hey, or you've gone to them and they went, I understand. You have options, son.
Well, what's to keep a coach from, for instance, now this doesn't really apply in this situation, but you'll get the point. When Kyler was sitting behind Baker, I mean, he had to, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Baker was the guy, Kyler had to wait his time out. What it was to keep a coach from going in and contacting Kyler and saying, hey, come on over here, you play right now.
I think that's a breach of the rules. You can't contact.
I think it is,
unless they have been entered, because the university. I'm not going to say that.
I mean, there are schools out there that guarantee.
Oh, I guarantee you. Yeah, but my point is, I just don't think these. I think these players that had the talk, and with the coaches that I had, okay, in high school and stuff, that's the highest level I played. They would just tell, if you went to them and said, hey, I think this, they weren't going to pull any punches with you. They weren't going to sugarcoat it for you. They're, Terry, if you want to play, more. If you want to play nose guard, you got to do X, Y, Z. Terry, you're never going to play nose guard, is what I got told. Is because I need you at the strong side of the left side of the defensive line, strong side of the offense. We need you to anchor that. That's what I was told. I wanted to play nose guard. I wanted to play center nose guard. I wanted to flip. I played center and turn around. Nope. Had Matt Fitter, who was a great nose guard. But my point is that they've had these discussions with the players. I just think that the coaches, when you have options, you might want to look at the portal. Or the guy goes, I'm going to enter the portal, and they go, that's probably the best thing for you.
Yeah, I'm sure they do to some extent.
I mean, I just think that if it was a situation where the coaching staff needed them, the team, obviously depth, but for crying out loud, if if we're in a situation where we need the fourth or fifth string linebacker because our depth, we're in trouble anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, how many guys was that we lost?
Oh gosh, I can't.
I mean, if you have any more guys hit the portal than we did,
one,
it could really hurt you.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So 11 guys hit the portal. That's a lot.
That's a lot. Yeah, it is.
So
we got 3 in, and then plus we got the 2 top JUCO kids defense.
I'm excited about those guys.
But let's touch on one more thing about Oklahoma football, Rob. And I don't want to get too far into it, because I think it's something that we can carry on through several conversations, and I want folks who are listening to us out there to kind of think about that. You remember back when we started this, and when we started the podcast, Lincoln's first year and all this stuff going on. I said back then, and I think you agreed with it, we're going to know whether Lincoln can coach in year 4 and 5.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're coming up on year 4. Okay. Lincoln Riley is 36-6 in 3 years. He has 3 conference titles, no bowl wins. Okay, because he's been in, the semifinals, and we still haven't won one of those. He has regular season losses, 1 to Iowa State, 1 to Texas, 1 to Kansas State. All 3 games had no business losing.
Right.
Okay. Should not have lost. We were double-digit favorites.
Texas, Kansas State, and Iowa State, right?
Right. We were double-digit favorites in all 3 of those games. Okay. Now, let's go back to 2014. Okay. That was the year before Lincoln Riley came to Oklahoma. Who'd we play in the Russell Athletic Bowl in 2014? Come on, Rob. You know this.
Auburn.
Clemson.
Do
Do you remember what Clemson did to us?
Yeah.
40-6.
Yeah, I remember.
2014, LSU loses the Music City Bowl. Okay, so Oklahoma loses the Russell Athletic Bowl to Clemson. Clemson wins. We're talking about 3 teams: Oklahoma, LSU, and Clemson.
Okay.
2015, we are in our first semifinal game, rematch from the year before, to Clemson. We lose to Clemson.
47-14 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. But we're in the playoffs.
Right.
Okay. Clemson goes on to lose to Alabama in the national championship game. LSU in 2015 beats Texas Tech in the Texas Bowl. Okay. 2016, Clemson wins the title. Oklahoma wins the Sugar Bowl because it didn't make the playoffs. LSU wins the Citrus Bowl. 2017, Clemson loses in the semifinals. Oklahoma loses in the semifinals. LSU loses Citrus Bowl. 2018, Clemson wins the title. Oklahoma loses the semis. LSU wins the Fiesta Bowl. 2019, Clemson loses the title to LSU. Oklahoma loses in the semis, and LSU wins title. Okay. So since 2014, Clemson has won 2 titles. LSU has risen up and won a title. Oklahoma has done nothing better than what they've done the last 3 and 4 years.
Okay.
How irritating is that?
Well, it's pretty irritating, but I mean, and I'm not. This is not a fallback, but to make that Final Four, you got to be one of the 4 best teams in the nation.
Yeah.
And year in and year out, we are that. LSU can't say that.
Yeah.
Well, there's only a couple of teams that can, Clemson and Alabama, right?
Right.
With some suggestion of Ohio State in there, but
well, the constant has been Clemson, Oklahoma, and Alabama. Oklahoma just haven't been able to get into the title.
right.
The constant. Oklahoma's been in the second to the most, I guess, behind Alabama and Clemson, or third to the most.
Yeah.
Still the only team not to win one.
It's not easy to win.
No,
in
it's
that
not.
game. It certainly is not, and you have to have some things go your way. The year that we lost to Georgia, the year that we lost to Alabama, I mean, we just played a half in both of those games that was horrible.
Yeah.
And we played a half that was pretty good. We played 2 halves like we played, in the second half against Alabama or the first half against Georgia. If we just mimic those, we win. We win those games. Of course, if Frog had wings, he wouldn't
Bump his butt every time.
Right. So, I mean, you can't live in that kind of a discussion, if and when, all that business.
Well, but it's to me, it's something I want to focus on this year, during the off season, talk about more, just it's kind of a tease out there for everybody to think, something for you to think about on it too, is why has Oklahoma reached a level and can't overcome it, and yet both Clemson and LSU, LSU's only been there once and they made it to the title game. Granted they had, obviously one of the best teams to ever play the game, ended up putting a pretty good beating on Clemson as well as they did on Oklahoma.
Well, I don't want to blow out your whole discussion, but listen, I think we're competing at that higher level not because we have the same level of players.
We have
don't.
Yeah, we had
I
better
don't believe
coaching.
that.
So for
Defensively, Clemson and LSU were head and shoulders above, better than us.
Oh, I agree with you, and that's part of the discussion. Okay. That's part of, there's a whole lot of stuff that goes into this, and that's what I want to talk to people about and keep that subject open because it is frustrating. It's been 20 years, Rob, 20 years since we've had a title.
I know.
We thought it was bad when it was 15 years in 2000.
Right.
And
we should have won like 5.
Well, and Caleb brought up the fact, I didn't hear it, but I mean, I guess DeMarco came out and said, had he played, we'd have beat Florida, which is true.
I might say that too.
Yeah.
Which I think that's a good hire, by the way.
Oh, yeah, it's a great hire. And we'll talk more about those 2 hires too. What else you got coming to the Chesapeake, Rob?
Oh boy, we've got a couple of concerts coming. Who's it? A Christian band that I really like. I can't remember who it was now. I don't know. Right now I can't afford really to look that far ahead because I'm so buried. So the purchaser that was there was.
Yeah, you told me.
Well, let's just say I was left in quite a predicament. In fact, I'm in the middle of going in and rebuilding their system, so it's just taken me forever. So once I get that caught up, it won't be as bad. But we've got a couple of concerts coming up, and
so you're going to be pulling that duty and the OU duty for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. Which really bums me out because at OU right now.
So tell people how they can apply for the job.
Yes. If you have any experience at all at purchasing, just DM me and we'll connect there and I will hire you in a second.
You'll put a mirror under their nose and it fogs. They got the job.
Well, as long as you tell me that you have a college degree I will believe you. And experience purchasing.
Yeah. My birthday's coming up this weekend. There's something I wanted to share. I don't think I told you about this.
Is it a margarita?
Oh yeah, margarita's coming up this weekend. But we also got the Iron Maidens, the all-female hot tribute band to my favorite band, Iron Maiden. Anyway, we'll be going to that Saturday night at the Diamond Ballroom. But when we went to the mall for Teresa's birthday, I was walking, the kiosk out there. When's the last time you went to the mall? It's probably been a while, hasn't it?
Let's not order everything online. So if you catch me at the mall, it's because there's a restaurant in there, probably.
Well, that's why we were at the mall. There was El Chico. Teresa likes El Chico. But anyway, the kiosk, those people will come out and, their job, it's like going to the carnival. Hey, come here. We're walking past, and Teresa, the lady gets her. I'm kind of behind her because I'd stopped at something and was looking at something. I was walking. The guy's like, hey, come here. What lotion do you use for your hands and arm? Do you know what my reply was?
No.
Do I look like a guy who uses lotion on my hands and arms?
I was scared to say, I'm not sure I want to know this.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the guy was like, you don't use any lotion, for your, what do you do about your dry skin? Soap. And I said, I got, the Jergens or whatever.
Well, I get a runny nose every now and then. I go like this. That helps.
So this guy, have you ever heard of the Dead Sea? Well, yeah,
No, where's that?
Yeah. So he proceeds to
rub lotion on you.
Use the Dead Sea salt. Puts it in my hands with water, and it says, now rub your hand. You feel it exfoliate, and I'm like. I'm like, man, I'm not going to buy anything, right? I'm telling this guy, and he goes, just wait until afterward. I mean, I know he's got a job. Right. He's doing his job.
Yep.
And so I do it, and he's like, can you feel the difference? And I was like, yeah, now put this lotion on. And he go, now, and you could. And there was, it was thoft. It
was nice and thoft.
It was nice and thoft, but. He stands and goes, now you can get that with the Dead Sea Scroll in this jar of this lotion and a jar of the Dead Sea salt for the exfoliating for $70.
How about I go get some rock salt and rub it in your eyeball and see if that helps?
Right? I'm like, man, I told you I wasn't going to buy anything. He goes, you don't think this is worth it? I was like, nope.
Oh boy.
I said, but I appreciate your job and I appreciate the time. I said, but I'm just not interested,
He thought he was just going to be
he was going to change my mind. This is a guy who actually I now buy my bath soap from Dr. Squatch online. It's an all natural bar soap that's pretty good. They got all these different scents and it's cheap. But that's why I shop at Dr. Squatch soaps, buddy. I mean, you're not going to sell me. Yeah. Now, if you had Dr. Squatch mud, maybe for my hands,
how come they don't have a girl doing that?
She had cornered Teresa.
Oh, okay.
So you're saying you might have bought it if a girl would have been
I probably wouldn't have bought it, but I would rather a girl rub lotion on my hand than a guy. Because I'm just going to go, ooh, don't touch me, dude. And then if he touches me again, I'm going to say, listen, I warned you once. Next time.
So you're one of these people that if you went to get a quote, a real massage, okay, not a massage parlor, a massage at a resort.
Okay.
You wouldn't want a male masseuse.
That's correct. That's like 1,000% correct, Terry. That's not even 100%. That's like 1,000% correct.
No, you walk in and Jimmy comes out to.
Yeah, I'm hopping up and shoom. So listen, okay. Here's the thing. I have a personal bubble.
that can only be popped by boobs.
No, listen. Let me finish. As far as men go, I'm as close to you right now as I'm comfortable being. Does that make sense? And I'm what, 10 feet from you?
Yeah.
I don't want to be any closer to any man than that. Females can get inside that bubble, but when it comes to touch, there's a 0 chance that I'm going to come up and start rubbing your shoulders. And I don't expect you to do that to me. And if you do, I'm probably going to try and wiggle out of that and look you in the eye like, is something wrong with you? Because you obviously went brain dead.
Okay.
Now, if a girl comes up and starts rubbing my shoulders, I'm okay with that.
You get that little, puppy dog look. The ear comes up,
Well, I mean, I just don't want to be touched by a guy. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't even want my doctor touching me. I'm like, can you diagnose me from over there, buddy? Because I don't want you over here.
Now, I will say that I had pulled a muscle in my back, kind of off the cage back there, and it was a knot. And I was at a gym. And it was hurting. Okay, it was when Caleb wrestled. I worked out that time, during that time, lifted a lot of weights. And they had, for $5, they call them chair massages, which you sit down in that chair, put your face in the donut hole.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And normally, there was a woman there that was doing it. And that night there was a guy, and I was hurting so bad. And Teresa's like, "I thought you were going to get a massage." I'm like, "It's a guy. I don't want."
So you're not so different from me.
I'm not so, but I was hurting so bad, Rob. I broke down. I sat down in that chair.
Pain will trump that personal bubble.
Now, I will say this: he did not put his hands on me. He used his elbow on that knot and worked that sucker out. Man, in 5 minutes, I was like, But
yeah, pain will trump that.
I said I just need that knot worked out. I don't need my shoulders. Don't reach up. I was explaining, don't reach up and
there's no reach around right here, bro.
Oh, but anyway, So how did you do in the tape room in high school and stuff with the?
I didn't get tape.
You didn't get tape? Nope. Did Mangum not have a tape in their budget, or did you just?
No, they did. I just didn't. I didn't need that stuff. I didn't get taped.
But anyway.
Well, wait, that's not true. One time I broke this finger, this pointer finger, where it was all the way touching over here on my pinky, and they taped that to my middle finger so I could continue playing.
Gotcha.
So that's the only time I remember using tape.
Well, guys, make sure and go check out the Oklahoma baseball is at home pretty much all this week. And like Rob said, on the Wednesday the 19th, you can go watch some snowball. Baseball in the snow.
Oh, right.
I don't know why they won't play. They've got this, the high dollar turf, and that's if you haven't been, it's weird looking. It's still hard to,
it doesn't smell like baseball.
Yeah, it doesn't smell like. And there's been a couple fans I've seen on Twitter that said, "I'll never go to another game. It doesn't smell like baseball." It's a complete artificial field.
They need to bring in some smell. I'm not kidding you. When I go to the ballpark, I want to smell baseball.
Yeah.
I know that may sound weird to some people.
Pour some dirt on the edges to where you smell dirt.
Yeah, something. Yeah. I don't care.
Some fresh cut grass. Something. I kind of agree, but it really looks different on TV when you look at it, because there's no, you're used to the indention, and you're used to a slide and dust flying, dirt in the skirt and all that stuff, and these guys, they slide. I wonder what that stuff's like to slide on.
I think it must be pretty good. I've been out on it. It's really cushy.
Yeah. So. But go check out some Oklahoma baseball, and we're going to be working on some Oklahoma baseball podcasts.
Let me tell you something. They will play. If the team, the school that's coming in, if they come in and they make it in,
they play.
They will play the game.
They're Texas Southern is who they play Wednesday, and they're playing tomorrow. So, tomorrow's supposed to be nice.
So they're probably here.
Yeah, they're probably here, and it's supposed to be nice.
Mm-hmm.
And then Friday the 21st, Illinois State. Now it says it has behind Saturday, February 22nd, Illinois State at noon. It says DH at noon. What is that? Is it a designated hitter game, or I don't know what that means. We're gonna have to find that out.
DH at noon.
Double hitter.
Duh.
I was like, what are they having, a designated hitter in that game?
Yeah, T-Row's at all those games, so that's always good. I'm like, T-Row.
Yeah, so I will.
I was like, who's this crazy guy?
Now, you'll always know, just so folks know, if you go to a baseball game, you'll always know if Rob's at the game on the first pitch. when his team is up to bat, whether if it's Oklahoma. Because what does Rob do if it's a ball on the first pitch?
Right?
Yells at the
Every
Come
time.
on, Blue, you're killing us.
Every time. I got it. Yeah, he needs to get it. First pitch is always a strike, and if it's not, he's getting an earful.
Yeah, so Rob, whether we're at a Dodgers game or a Texas Rangers game or an Oklahoma
people
game,
look at me funny when I do stuff like that.
the first
I'm
pitch,
like, this is normal, folks.
the first pitch, if it's Oklahoma throwing it, if it's a ball, come on, Blue, you're killing us. If it's Oklahoma at bat and it's a strike, come on, Blue, you're killing us.
That's right.
And
That's
he
right.
yells it. So you'll know if Rob is there if you hear the first pitch, come on, Blue, you're killing us. So,
And then people turn around and look at me like I'm the weird
yeah.
one, right? You're not saying nothing, but I'm the weird one here. Okay.
And Rob says it from up high, and everybody in the stadium hears.
Yeah.
He even did, like I said, he even did it when we went to the Rangers games. I mean, first pitch of the guy, come on, Blue, you're
Scared the lady next to me to death.
yeah. But anyway, that we got a little bit of Sooner talk in. We'll get some more in. It's going to be a fun off season. Going to be a fun time with the fans. Like I said, we're hoping to get some pretty cool media guys we've had on before, and then some that we haven't. Still working out the details on that. Still working out. We're going to try to drop every Monday and Wednesday, depending on the Mr. Workaholic over here,
Right.
who's getting all that time and a half overtime.
Listen, when you're a salary employee, they just ride you like a beat horse.
But so here until Rob gets that all lined out, we may be kind of sporadic with our drops, but we'll definitely have 2 out and try to do our Thursday night video as well. But it may be a little bit of funky going until we all got to work around Rob and his life.
Get somebody hired. Well, you and Caleb can put them out though without me.
The princess over here. It's all about him.
Well, I can't imagine it being any good without me. But no, I'm joking.
But we're going to try to keep the group together. Caleb would have been here tonight, but Monday, we're recording this on Monday. It's going to be Wednesday. Today's Wednesday that we drop it, but Monday nights is Caleb's late night at Icy. So, and then when it snowed, a couple of weeks ago, had the big snow, he didn't go to work on the snow. Can you imagine not delivering ices on an icy day?
That's just wrong.
Rob, you got anything else? Anything else you
man.
want to share with everybody?
No, we got it covered.
All right. Thanks a lot for listening, everybody. Boomer Rob.
Boomer Terry.
Hey, hold on, hold. Bag up, Terry. Put it in reverse, Terry. Put it in reverse. Oh, Lord Jesus.